Hello and welcome to another Big Orbit Games unboxing video. I'm Chris and today we are looking at the X-Wing 2.0 Galactic Empire Conversion Kit. So if you are an existing player, this is your go-to place to get everything ready for 2.0. And there is a lot of cardboard in this box. Like serious amounts of cardboard. This much cardboard and lots of cards. So also in that box should be, there is indeed, nice little component list, introduction to 2.0. So this shows you everything that's in there, and there is a lot, like a hell of a lot. So, a bit of an intro to 2.0, things that are from first edition as well that you'll need, or things that are in there that are also the same in first edition. You've got the maneuver dial assembly, because they are slightly different now. They go together the exact same way, but backwards. You've also got a conversion peg for small to medium ships. So the TIE Punisher was originally on a small base with a small peg. This has a special peg that makes it slot into the medium base while still maintaining the small ship. So yeah, and on the back of that there's also a little thing with new components. So you've got the reinforced tokens, calculate tokens, jam and tractor tokens, cloak tokens, listening device and hunted condition, along with the arc indicators. And slightly new rules with the bombs and other things that you can drop around the field of battle. So useful little info thing there. Then we've got stacks of cards. We've got the new medium ship bases with the special conversion pegs. You can just about see that through there. And lots of connectors for maneuver dials, of which there are many. As you can see, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So let's have a look at these first. These are they're not exclusive to the conversion kit, but they are ships that appear in the new wave that are released at the same time that didn't exist before. So you've got a list of what's in there. So you've got 4 small ship tokens and the ship cards that go with them. So the tokens are for TIE Fighters and a TIE Advanced. And as always, double-sided, depending on who you want to use. Which is kind of cool this time, except double-sided to the same side. Fair enough. The pilots you get are Gideon Hask. So while you perform an attack against a damaged defender, roll an additional dice. That's quite cool in a swarm list where you're getting away that chip damage, and just rolling extra dice is always good. You got Del Miko. While a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 defends against a damaged attacker, the defender may re-roll 1 defense dice. So keeping these two kind of partner up well together in a sort of damage their ships without actually killing them list. You got Sane Marana, also TIE Fighter. While you perform an attack, you may spend 1 crit result. If you do, deal 1 face down damage card to the defender, then cancel your remaining results. So you've only got 2 dice anyway. Obviously you're gonna try and get more than 2 dice, but if you are just rolling straight up 2 dice, if you happen to get a crit, sometimes it's worth spending that without your opponent getting to react with their own dice, so fairly good. Then you got Ved Foslo in the TIE Advanced. So while you execute a maneuver, you may execute a maneuver of the same bearing and difficulty of a speed 1 higher or lower instead. So quite cool. You can set up some nice little maneuvers with that. If your opponent's move first and you realise that you can get into a better position by going 1 speed slower or 1 speed faster, yeah, you can get into that position and get some good shots off, or get out of their arc, or just generally it's good maneuverability. So that's that little pack there. We will look at the big chunk of cardboard next, which I will need a knife to open. That's that off. So we've got our ship tokens, of which there are many. So you got the a few of the large tokens for the like Lambda shuttle and the Decimator. You got the medium, only 2 mediums for Empire for the conversion kit, but you get a lot of small tokens. That entire sheet is just all small tokens for the various ships. So all the different TIE fighters, whether it be Punisher, Defender, Bomber, Advanced, whatever. And then you've got the maneuver dial covers, which each one is kind of unique to the faction now, where everything's a different colour so you know what faction you're playing if you forget midway through the game. But they do look nice, very distinct for each faction. And yeah, charge counters, force charge, tractor tokens, sorry, cloak tokens, not tractors, and the new square stress. There's a calculate token as well, and those are double-sided, so you flip them over when you've used them, and they are red because there are like ways of getting them back once you've spent them. So the idea is that you keep them on the card, flip them over, and then flip them back when you generate them again. More maneuver dial covers, and then the dials themselves. So a fair few of them have changed, or just have new maneuvers on them, which is always good. Kind of more choice it's always going to make the game more interesting. It makes it a little bit harder to predict what your opponent might do because they have a bigger choice. And you know, predicting your opponent's maneuvers is half the fun of the game, really, isn't it? You've also got the new tokens as well. So the new focus tokens, slightly different to the old ones. You've got reinforced tokens and those tractor tokens. And a lot more force tokens because, you know, you got Vader and Palpatine and things like that. Like all those different characters that use the force. So yeah, lots and lots there. But mostly you kind of want to look at the pilots, which I'll just throw around. So start with that pack first, because this is solid pilots all the way through. I'm not going to talk about each individual one because we will be here for far too long if I do, but I probably will highlight a couple just to discuss briefly. So onto the TIE LNs, we've got Mauler, Howl Runner, Scourge, Wampa, Black Squadron Ace ×4, and Obsidian Squadron Pilot also ×4, and then Academy Pilot, I believe it's also ×4. So big chunk of just standard TIE Fighter pilot cards there. So lots and lots of choice if you're flying a basic swarm. Then we've got Vader in the Advanced, who does use Force. He starts with 3 Force and generates 1 at the end of each turn. And after you perform an action, you may spend a Force to perform an action. So that's pretty awesome. So you can target lock and then spend a Force to barrel roll or something. Just the ability to perform 2 actions in turn is great. Then you've got Marek Steel, Zertic Strom, and a Storm Squadron Ace, and a Tempest Squadron Ace. So lots. Oh, and Grand Inquisitor as well. Forgot about that one. Oh, and Seventh Sister. And wow, there's just loads. Oh, that's the X one, sorry, not the V one. So that's the Advanced X one, and then the Advanced V one. Okay, that's the Inquisitor, which is still very good, as it was in 1.0. So 5 pilot skill. While you defend an attack at range 1, you can spend a force to prevent the range 1 bonus, or while you perform an attack against the defender at range 2 to 3, you may spend a force to apply the range 1 bonus. So that's pretty cool. You're just getting in those extra dice by spending force, which you generate at the end of the turn anyway. And yeah, some good maneuvers, like abilities on there as well. So 7th Sister also uses the force, so while you perform a primary attack before the neutralize result step, you may spend 2 force to cancel an evade result, which is also quite nice. You've got Baron of the Empire, ×3, and Inquisitor, ×3, which also have force, which explains why there's so many force counters in the upgrade kit. Then you got the Interceptor, you got Suntir Fel, Terpenia, Saber Squadron Ace, and Alpha Squadron Pilot. And then the TIE Bomber, you got Tomax Bren, Captain Jonas, Major Rhymer, Deathfire, and Gamma Squadron Ace, ×3, and Scimitar Squadron Pilot, also ×3. So it seems like they're expecting you to go heavy on the swarm lists here. Then with the TIE Striker, you have Duchess, Countdown, Pure Sabak, Black Squadron Scout, and Planetary Sentinel. Then Defender, you got Rexlar Brath, Colonel Vessery, Countess Rayad, and Onyx Squadron Ace. And then Delta Squadron Pilot, which there is one of there, and more in this next pack. I'm extremely glad I bought a knife into this. Otherwise I'd be here for ages trying to open these things. So the 2nd Delta Squadron Pilot. Then you got the Aggressor, Lieutenant Kestel, Double Edge, Onyx Squadron Scout, and Sinar Specialist ×2. You've got Phantom, which is Whisper, Echo, and Sigma Squadron Ace, and Imdar Test Pilot. You got Alpha Class, Major Vinder, Lieutenant Karsabi, Row Squadron Pilot, and New Squadron Pilot. Then the TIE Punisher, we have a Red Line, Death Rain, Cutlass Squadron Pilot, and then the Lambda, you've got Captain Kagi, Colonel Jendon, Lieutenant Sai, Omnicron Group Pilot, and then for the Decimator, Captain Oiken, Rear Admiral Chinrao, Patrol Leader, and that brings us to the end of the pilot cards. So big chunk of pilot cards there. Lots and lots of choice. Maybe, like, it does seem a bit strange having so many of certain ones and not others, but you know, can't complain too much. You got Listening Device and Hunted Condition cards as well, just so you've always got those available. And then on to the upgrades, which is the bulk of the set, to be honest. Loads of upgrade cards. So Crackshot, which as always is very good. You got Daredevil, Debris Gambit, you got Elusive. In fact, Elusive is very good actually. So it's got a charge counter on it, and while you defend, you can spend a charge counter to reroll one of your defense dice, and after you fully execute a rev maneuver, recover a charge counter off it. So keep getting those charge counters and keep re-rolling your defense dice. Nobody likes blanks. And Expert Handling, Intimidation ×3, Duke ×3, Lone Wolf, Marksmanship, Outmaneuver ×3, Predator ×3, and Ruthless ×3. So I need to figure out which one to get onto next. Yeah, we're on this pack next. So Saturation Salvo, 2 of. We've got Squad Leader, Swarm Tactics, and Trick Shot. Then Advanced Sensors, which is still very, very good. So it does the exact same things it did in 1.0, where after you reveal your dial, you may perform an action. If you do, you cannot perform another action during your activation. Then you've got Collision Detector, Fire Control System, ×2, Trajectory Simulator, ×2, Heavy Laser Cannon, ×2. A lot of these weapon upgrades are ×2s. So Ion Cannon, Jamming Beam, Tractor Beam, Dorsal Turret, Ion Cannon Turret, Advanced Proton Torpedoes ×3, Ion Torpedoes, Proton Torpedoes also ×3, and Barrage Rockets ×3, Cluster Mine Missiles, not mines, ×3, Concussion Missile ×3, and Homing Missile ×3. So in the other upgrade kits, most of those are ×2. So Empire, obviously with so many small ships, you're going to need more. Ion Missiles ×3, and Proton Rockets ×3. Then we're on to Crew. So you've got Admiral Sloan, Imperial only, so after the friendly ship at range 0 to 3 defends, if it's destroyed, the attacker gets 2 stress tokens. While the friendly ship at range 0 to 3 performs an attack against a stressed ship, it may re-roll 1 attack die. It's quite good, especially if you expect your ships to explode. Agent Callus, Sienna Ray, Vader, Palpatine, Freelance Slicer. In fact, is Palpatine actually good anymore? Takes up 2 crew slots. While another friendly ship defends or performs an attack, you may spend 1 force to modify one of its dice as though that ship had spent a force. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. 3 force, and you get it back at the end of turn. That's what the little arrow means next to it, so yeah, not too bad. It's probably a lot of points though. How about Vader? At the start of the engagement phase, you may choose 1 ship in your firing arc at range 0 to 2 and spend a force. If you do, that ship suffers damage unless it chooses to remove a green token. That's quite nasty. And again, he gets the force back at the end of turn, so either denying them the ability to modify their dice with tokens, or just straight up suffering damage if they, for instance, performed a red maneuver and don't have the token for that turn. Yeah, solid cards. But as with Vader and Palp, they are normally fairly expensive. I don't see why that, like, 2.0 would be an exception. So we've got Gonk, we've got Grand Inquisitor, which is another Imperial-only Force user. After an enemy ship at range 0 to 2 reveals its dial, you may spend a force to perform 1 white action on your action bar, treating that action as red. So, yeah, pretty good. Getting an extra action, but not really, because it's giving you a stress, which means you can't perform an action afterwards, but I can see it situationally being very good. You've got Grand Moff Tarkin, who has 2 charge counters. During the system phase, you may spend 2 charge counters. If you do, each friendly ship may acquire a lock on a ship that you have locked. Yeah, that's very good on a swarm. Very, very good. Informant, Minister Tau, Moff Jared, Novice Tech, Perceptive Co-Pilot, Seasoned Navigator, 7th Sister, Tactical Officer, 5th Brother, Hotshot Gunner, Skilled Bombardier, Veteran Turret Gunner. Yeah, it doesn't have Veteran Tail Gunner because none of the ships have a tail gunner. Bomblet Generator, Connonets ×3, got Proton Bombs, also ×3, Proximity Mines ×3, Seismic Charges ×3, and that's all the bombs. So then Ablative Plating, Advanced Slam, Electronic Baffle, Hull Upgrade, Munitions Failsafe, Shield Upgrade, Static Discharge Vanes, Stealth Device, Tactical Scrambler, and then we're on to titles. So for the Decimator we've got Dauntless, For the Lambda, you got ST321. You got the Alpha class OS1 Arsenal loadout. So it's not actually a title, it's which loadout it has. And these, no, they're not double-sided. So this one is, while you have exactly one disarm token, you can still perform torpedo and missile attacks against targets you have locked. If you do, you cannot spend your lock during the attack. And it adds the torpedo and missile slots. Whereas the other one is the assault configuration for the Alpha class. So while you have exactly one disarm token, you can still perform shooty-shoot attacks. And you also gain that slot as well. And you can, while disarmed, roll a maximum of 3 attack dice. So no bonuses or anything like that. And there's 3 of in there. So a fair few upgrades. Like there's close to 250, maybe 300 cards here. Seems like there's slightly more cards than in the other sets, conversion kits. But I suppose, you know, Imperial lists are more about swarms, so not always, obviously, but a fair few. Well, that's kind of what they try and push. So with those swarms, it's always good to pick up the singles of the generics. So remember, you can buy and sell any of the components you've seen in this kit on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. As I said, if you're playing swarms and you picked up a conversion kit, but you need the extra pilots, it's a great place to get them. So yeah, visit the site and put an order through. And yeah, stay tuned for more 2.0 unboxing videos. We'll be doing the entire wave, and also obviously wave 2 when it comes out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.